Dr. Sarah Chen found her daughter's bedroom walls covered in fractals again. The same precise, geometric patterns, drawn in her daughter's fevered sleep, matched the seismic data currently flooding her lab's monitors. Emily sat in the center of her bed, eyes closed, markers still moving across her tablet in perfect, fluid motions. "Emmy," Sarah whispered, reaching for the tablet. Her daughter's hand stopped mid-stroke, the familiar pattern incomplete. "How long have you been drawing?" Emily's eyes opened slowly, but they weren't focusing on her mother. They tracked invisible lines in the air, following paths only she could see. "The drums are getting louder. Mom, can't you hear them?" Sarah checked her phone. 3 missed calls from the lab. As head of MIT's Department of Geological Sciences, she'd been tracking anomalous seismic patterns for months. But this was the 4th time Emily's drawings had preceded major geological events. "Dr. Chen," her research assistant's voice crackled through her phone before she could even say hello. "The Pacific Array is lighting up. It's the same pattern as last week, but stronger. And there's something else." Sarah glanced at Emily, who had resumed drawing. "What is it, Marcus?" "The deep-sea stations are picking up bioluminescence, all of them. Every station from the Mariana Trench to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. They're pulsing in sync with the seismic waves." A chill ran down Sarah's spine as she watched Emily complete another perfect fractal. "Send me the footage. I'm coming in." The MIT Geological Sciences building was chaos when Sarah arrived. Emily in tow. She couldn't find last-minute childcare, and something told her she needed to keep her daughter close. The main laboratory's wall of monitors displayed a globe marked with pulsing red points, seismic activity far above normal levels, but following no known fault lines. "Mom." Emily tugged at her lab coat. "The songs are different here. They're clearer." Before Sarah could respond, Marcus burst through the door. "You need to see this." He thrust a tablet into her hands. "Live feed from Station Deep Pioneer. The bioluminescence. It's forming patterns." The footage showed the dark, abyssal plain illuminated by waves of blue-green light. But these weren't random flashes of marine life. The lights moved with purpose, forming and reforming into familiar shapes. Sarah's blood ran cold as she recognized them. They'd matched Emily's drawings exactly. "Emmy, honey." Sarah knelt beside her daughter. "What are you hearing right now?" Emily's eyes remained fixed on the central monitor. "It's not just songs anymore. There are words, but not like our words. They're made of light and stone and time." She walked to the data station, and before anyone could stop her, began arranging seismic readouts on the floor. The lab fell silent as Emily worked. Paper after paper, graph after graph, arranged in a spiral pattern that grew more complex with each edition. When she finished, Sarah saw it. The pattern matched both the bioluminescent formations and Emily's drawings perfectly. "Dr. Chen," one of her colleagues whispered, "this is impossible. She just arranged 3 months of data into a coherent pattern that none of our computers detected." But Sarah wasn't listening. Her mind was racing through years of research, connecting dots she'd previously ignored. The increasing frequency of geometrically perfect earthquake patterns. The mysterious deep earth resonances that matched no known geological process. The synchronized animal migrations that defied explanation. Her phone buzzed. Another alert. Wildlife preserves worldwide were reporting mass animal movements. Herds, flocks, and even insect swarms were forming mathematical patterns visible from space. Sarah pulled up the satellite imagery and felt her world tilt sideways. The patterns matched Emily's arrangement exactly. "Mom." Emily's voice had changed, carrying an echo that didn't belong in the lab's acoustic space. "Something's waking up. Something big. And it's been waiting for us for a very long time." Marcus rushed in with new seismic data. "Dr. Chen, we're detecting movement patterns at depths we've never recorded before. Whatever this is, it's happening throughout the entire lithosphere." Sarah looked at her daughter. then at the wall of data showing a planet in the midst of change that defied explanation. She thought of all the warnings they'd ignored, the perfectly geometric earthquake patterns dismissed as coincidence, the synchronized volcanic temperature fluctuations explained away as equipment malfunction, the growing number of children worldwide reporting strange dreams of crystal cities beneath the earth. Emily walked to the main monitor and placed her hand on the screen. Where her fingers touched, the seismic patterns shifted, realigning themselves into new configurations that rippled across the global display. "They're coming," she said, her voice carrying that same impossible echo. "They're coming because they can feel it too. But they don't understand what we did, what humanity did without even knowing it." "What did we do?" Sarah asked, though part of her already knew the answer. Emily turned to her mother, and for a moment, Sarah saw something ancient in her daughter's eyes, something that spoke of depths beyond human comprehension and ages beyond human reckoning. "We taught it how to dream, Mom. And now it's finally waking up." The monitors erupted with new data as seismic stations worldwide reported simultaneous activity. And in the depths of the earth, something that had slept for eons began to stir, its awakening guided by the unlikeliest of teachers, a species that had evolved not just to think, but to imagine. The aurora began at noon. Rivers of light cascaded across the sky, defying both time of day and the known laws of physics. Green and purple ribbons danced from pole to pole, forming intricate patterns that moved with deliberate purpose. Sarah Chen watched from MIT's rooftop observatory as her equipment recorded electromagnetic readings that should have been impossible. "A patterns match," Emily whispered, her tablet displaying her latest drawings. "They're using the magnetosphere to talk to us." Before Sarah could respond, every electronic device on campus activated simultaneously. Screens flickered to life, speakers crackled, and phones rang with a tone that made the air itself vibrate. Then came the message, transmitted in every known language and several that had been dead for millennia. "The sleeper must not wake." The ships appeared moments later, emerging from what looked like folds in space itself. Their vessels defied conventional geometry, crystalline structures that seemed to grow and breathe, organic technology that blurred the line between artificial and natural. They formed a vast lattice around Earth, their presence immediately affecting global weather patterns. "Dr. Chen." Marcus burst through the roof access door. "NASA's reporting thousands of ships, all broadcasting the same message. They're requesting immediate evacuation of the planet." Sarah pulled Emily closer as more ships appeared, their crystalline forms refracting sunlight into prismatic displays that rivaled the aurora. "Evacuation to where?" Her question was answered by another global broadcast, this one accompanied by images that seared themselves into the minds of every human on Earth. The aliens showed themselves, beams of crystalline light that flowed like liquid mercury, their forms constantly shifting between states of matter. "Your species has inadvertently initiated a process that cannot be allowed to complete," their message continued. "This world is one of the ancients, a cosmic entity that has served as an incubator for countless civilizations. Your technological advancement has begun triggering its consciousness. For the safety of this galaxy, you must leave." But even as they spoke, something extraordinary was happening. Humans worldwide began experiencing shared visions, flashes of Earth's history seen from impossible perspectives. The birth of mountains, the first spark of life in primordial oceans, the slow dance of continents across ends of time. Emily's eyes went wide. "Mom, look." She pointed to her tablet, where a new drawing was taking shape under her fingers. But she wasn't the only one creating it. Thousands of children worldwide were drawing the same image simultaneously, a map of something vast and complex, buried deep beneath Earth's crust. The alien fleet began their evacuation attempts immediately, their ships descending with beams of light that could transport hundreds of humans at once. But each time they tried, their technology faltered. The beams scattered, reformed, and scattered again, as if the planet itself was rejecting their efforts. Fascinating. One of Sarah's colleagues muttered, studying readings from the failed transport attempts. The energy signatures. They're being redirected through some kind of crystalline network we never knew existed. Sarah watched as Emily continued drawing, her hands moving with increasing urgency. The tablet showed vast underground chambers, networks of crystalline structures that pulsed with life, and something else. Patterns that matched human neural pathways perfectly. "Mom," Emily's voice carried that strange echo again. "They don't understand. We're not just living on Earth. We've become part of it. Every city we've built, every tunnel we've dug, every network we've created, they're all becoming neural pathways in its mind." The alien fleet's next announcement carried a note of fear. "This is unprecedented. The human neural patterns. They've merged with the ancients' dormant consciousness. This has never occurred in any documented awakening." Sarah's phone rang. Colleagues worldwide reporting the same phenomenon. The shared visions were intensifying, but they weren't random. Each person experienced memories relevant to their location, as if Earth itself was trying to communicate its history through human consciousness. "The drums are getting louder," Emily whispered, her drawing now showing something that made Sarah's breath catch. A perfect representation of global neural networks overlaid with Earth's geological structures. They matched exactly. The aliens made one final attempt at evacuation, this time with enough ships to transport millions simultaneously. But at the crucial moment, every human on Earth experienced the same vision. A memory of the first multicellular organisms learning to work together, of consciousness emerging from cooperation rather than competition. "You don't understand what you've done." The alien message carried clear desperation now. "We've seen an ancient awaken before. The destruction spanned dozens of solar systems." But Emily stood up, her voice carrying that impossible echo that now seemed to resonate with something deep within the Earth itself. "No," she said, and somehow her words reached every mind, human and alien alike. "You've seen what happens when an ancient wakes up alone, in fear and confusion. But we're not letting Earth wake up alone. We're waking up with it." The ground trembled, not with destruction but with something else, a rhythm that matched the beating of every human heart. And in that moment, as the aliens watched in astonishment, humanity demonstrated that their greatest strength wasn't their technology or their adaptability. It was their ability to transform what should have been a cosmic horror story into something entirely new. A tale of connection, of growth, and of consciousness evolving not in isolation, but in harmony. The world governments fractured within hours of the alien ultimatum. Some nations began mass evacuations to alien ships, while others fortified their borders against what they called cosmic colonization. But Sarah Chen had more immediate concerns. Emily's neural patterns were becoming dangerously entangled with Earth's emerging consciousness. "Her brainwave activity is off the charts," Dr. Rivera, the neurologist, explained as they watched Emily sleep in the MIT Medical Center. "It's as if her mind is processing information from millions of sources simultaneously." Sarah studied the monitors. Emily's neural patterns matched exactly with the new seismic data. Every spike in brain activity corresponded with waves of energy pulsing through Earth's crystalline networks. "She's not just receiving information," Sarah realized. "She's helping process it." The discovery spread quickly through the scientific community. Worldwide, thousands of people, mostly children, showed similar synchronization with Earth's awakening mind. They were acting as natural processors, helping Earth's ancient consciousness integrate with modern human neural patterns. But there was a cost. Their bodies weren't designed for this kind of neural load, Dr. Rivera warned. Without intervention, the synchronization will eventually overwhelm their nervous systems. Sarah faced an impossible choice. Emily was one of the strongest conduits between humanity and Earth's awakening mind. Her presence was helping stabilize the process, preventing the violent awakening the aliens feared. But every day of connection brought her closer to neural collapse. In Washington, D.C., the president addressed a panicked nation. We face a choice between evacuation and resistance, but our scientists report a third option. Humanity has somehow become integral to Earth's awakening process. We may be the key to preventing the catastrophe our alien visitors fear. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, research submarines discovered vast chambers of crystal formations containing structures identical to human synapses. Similar findings emerged worldwide. Earth's geology had been slowly transforming, creating a planetary-scale neural network that mirrored human consciousness. Look at this. Marcus showed Sarah new data from their global monitoring network. The crystalline structures aren't just similar to human neurons. They're adapting to match them exactly. Earth isn't just waking up. It's learning from us. Emily stirred in her hospital bed, her voice carrying that now familiar echo. The memories are so old, Mom. Billions of years of life and death and change. But they never had anyone to share them with before. We're teaching it how to connect. Sarah's research team made a breakthrough that changed everything. Human consciousness wasn't just witnessing Earth's awakening. It was stabilizing it. The presence of human neural patterns was preventing the chaotic emergence that had caused destruction in previous planetary awakenings. But Emily's condition was deteriorating. Her neural patterns showed increasing strain from processing Earth's ancient memories. Other children worldwide were beginning to show similar symptoms. We could stop it, Dr. Rivera suggested. Break the connection before it's too late. Sarah watched her daughter sleep, remembering all the nights spent stargazing together, Emily's endless questions about the universe. Now her child was helping a planet achieve consciousness at the cost of her own life. The alien sent another message. Your species has a choice. The connection can be severed. The ancient will return to sleep, and your children will be saved. But know that this opportunity, this harmony between planetary and organic consciousness, may never occur again. Emily woke suddenly, her eyes reflecting impossible depths. Mom, she whispered, I can feel everyone. Not just the other children, but every human connected to Earth's network. We're not just processing its memories anymore. We're sharing ours too. Teaching it about love, about wonder, about what it means to be alive. Sarah took her daughter's hand, feeling the pulse that now beat in rhythm with waves of energy circling the planet. But it's killing you, Emmy. No, Emily smiled, and for a moment Sarah saw something ancient and new in her daughter's eyes. It's changing me, changing all of us. The hard part isn't surviving the connection. It's learning how to fully embrace it. As if in response, the crystalline networks beneath Earth's surface pulsed with new energy. In hospitals worldwide, the vital signs of connected children began to stabilize as Earth's neural network adapted to protect its young partners. Sarah made her choice, not just as a mother or a scientist, but as part of humanity's greatest leap into unknown territory. They wouldn't run from this connection. They would strengthen it, guide it, and discover what it truly meant to be part of a conscious planet's awakening. The aliens watched in amazement as humanity chose not to flee but to embrace their role in cosmic evolution. Earth's awakening wouldn't be a story of destruction, but of transformation. Proof that consciousness could evolve not through isolation, but through connection. The crystalline ship appeared without warning in MIT's courtyard, its surface rippling like liquid mercury. Unlike the militant vessels maintaining Earth's quarantine, this one pulsed with soft bioluminescence. 3 aliens emerged, their forms more defined than their military counterparts, almost humanoid in their crystalline transparency. We are the gardeners, they announced to Sarah and her team. And we have come to confess. Sarah noticed how Emily and the other connected children gathered at the windows didn't show fear, but recognition. You've been here before, she said. It wasn't a question. The lead gardener's form shifted, displaying internal patterns that matched the ancient crystalline networks beneath Earth's crust. We were the caretakers once, nurturing conscious planets across the galaxy, until fear turned us into hunters. Their story poured forth in streams of shared consciousness, images and emotions flooding the minds of all present. The gardeners had discovered the cosmic entities eons ago, planets that developed consciousness through billions of years of evolution. They studied them, cultivated them, learned from them. But then one awoke violently. The gardener continued. Our fear led us to a terrible solution. We learned to lobotomize these beings, harvesting their energy while keeping them dormant. We became addicted to their power, justifying our actions as necessary for galactic safety. Emily stepped forward, her neural connection to Earth, making her skin shimmer with traces of the same crystalline patterns. But Earth is different. We changed something. Yes, little bridge maker, your species has achieved something unprecedented. Instead of merely triggering consciousness, you've become part of it. Your cities, your networks, your very thoughts have integrated with Earth's awakening mind in ways we never imagined possible. The military fleet above detected the gardeners' unauthorized landing. As they moved to intervene, the gardeners activated Earth's ancient defense systems through the connected children. Thousands of youngsters worldwide fell into synchronized comas, their minds joining together in Earth's crystalline network. Sarah watched in horror as Emily collapsed with the others. But before panic could set in, the ground beneath them transformed. Crystalline structures erupted in geometric patterns, forming a protective barrier around every group of connected children globally. Do not fear, the gardeners assured as the military fleet's weapons failed to penetrate the barriers. Your children aren't dying. They're accessing Earth's original defense systems, systems we installed but could never fully control. Through the children's connected consciousness, Earth began revealing its true capabilities. Ancient machines, dormant for millions of years, activated deep beneath the crust. But instead of weapons, they were tools of transformation and healing. This is impossible, the military fleet's commander broadcasted. The Ancient Ones were forces of destruction. Their awakening brought only chaos. Emily's voice, now carrying the strength of thousands of connected minds, echoed through the crystalline networks. Because you never gave them a chance to be anything else. You feared what you couldn't control, so you hurt them before they could learn to trust. The gardener's forms rippled with what Sarah recognized as shame. We were wrong. Earth isn't awakening despite humanity's presence. It's awakening in harmony with it. Your species' capacity for empathy, for understanding, for love. You've given the Ancient Ones something we never could. Worldwide, the comatose children began manifesting impossible abilities. Their bodies channeled Earth's energy in ways that defied physics. But instead of destruction, they created. Pollution began transforming into crystalline structures that purified water. Atmospheric carbon was converted into networks of airborne organisms that repaired the ozone layer. Mom, Emily's voice echoed in Sarah's mind, her physical body still in its protective crystal cocoon. We can feel what Earth wants. It doesn't want to destroy. It wants to create, to nurture, to grow. Just like us. The military fleet commander demanded answers. Why are you revealing this now? What could possibly make you betray your own kind? The lead gardener's form solidified into something ancient and sorrowful. Because we felt it. The moment Earth's consciousness merged with human neural patterns, we felt something we haven't experienced in eons. Hope. Your children haven't just awakened Earth. They've shown us a way to heal all the wounded entities we left scattered across the galaxy. Sarah watched as the crystalline barriers around the children began to pulse in rhythm with Earth's core. Her scientific mind raced to understand the implications, but her heart already knew the truth. Humanity hadn't just survived an alien ultimatum. They'd transformed it into an opportunity for cosmic healing. The gardeners bowed to the connected children. We came as confessors, they said, but we leave as students. You've shown us that the greatest power in the universe isn't the ability to destroy or control. It's the courage to connect, to understand, and to grow together. The children woke up changed. Sarah watched as Emily opened her eyes, now streaked with threads of crystalline light that pulsed in rhythm with Earth's core. Around the world, Thousands of connected children exhibited the same transformation, their bodies becoming hybrid interfaces between human consciousness and planetary awareness. The integration is accelerating, Marcus reported, studying readings from their global sensor network. The crystalline structures in their cells are identical to Earth's deep network formations. They're not just connecting to the planet anymore. They're becoming living extensions of its consciousness. Emily stood by the lab's window, her hand pressed against the glass. Where her fingers touched, fractal patterns of frost formed, but instead of cold crystals, they were living structures that pulsed with bioluminescent energy. "We can do more than just hear Earth now, Mom. We can help it act." The first demonstration of their new capabilities came without warning. As a Category 5 hurricane approached Miami, connected children along the eastern seaboard joined minds. Through their shared consciousness, they accessed Earth's weather control systems, ancient mechanisms that had lain dormant for millions of years. The hurricane didn't dissipate. Instead, it transformed. The destructive storm became a controlled system that pulled excess carbon from the atmosphere, converting it into a rain of crystalline seeds that took root and grew into carbon-absorbing structures. "Impossible," the military observers muttered, watching as children reshaped weather patterns with the casual ease of breathing. But that was just the beginning. In the Sahara, connected children worked in concert with Earth's deep systems to activate dormant fungal networks. Massive mycological webs spread beneath the sand, transforming the desert into a self-sustaining ecosystem that balanced human needs with planetary health. The gardeners observed with growing amazement. "They're not just controlling Earth's systems," the lead gardener noted. "They're teaching the planet how to heal itself, how to maintain balance without external control." Sarah's team documented each miracle with rigorous scientific methodology, even as their instruments struggled to explain what they were recording. Pollution-eating bacteria evolved in hours rather than millennia. Ancient volcanic systems were repurposed into geothermal power networks that could provide clean energy to entire continents. But it was the changes in the children themselves that proved most remarkable. Their neural patterns grew increasingly complex, operating on multiple levels of consciousness simultaneously. They could perceive and process information from anywhere on the planet, their minds expanding to encompass both human and planetary perspectives. "It's not overwhelming anymore," Emily explained as she helped Sarah understand the data. "At first, we were just processing Earth's memories. Now we're helping it create new ones, teaching it how to think like us while we learn to think like it." The gardeners' military counterparts watched in growing concern as Earth's transformation accelerated. Coastal cities developed living seawalls that grew and adapted to rising sea levels. Forests began exhibiting coordinated behaviors, sharing resources and information through enhanced mycological networks that interfaced with human communication systems. "Your children are playing with forces beyond their comprehension," the military commander warned. "These changes, they're spreading too fast to control." But Emily and the other children laughed at the concept of control. Through their connection with Earth, they had access to billions of years of evolutionary wisdom. They weren't controlling anything. They were participating in the planet's natural evolution, guiding it toward harmony rather than dominance. "You see only the surface changes," Emily told the commander, her voice carrying echoes of ancient wisdom. "But the real transformation is deeper. We're not just fixing environmental problems. We're teaching Earth and ourselves a new way of existing, one where consciousness evolves through cooperation rather than competition." The evidence was undeniable. Every intervention by the connected children led to cascading positive changes that benefited both humanity and the planet. The children had become living bridges between human innovation and Earth's ancient power, creating solutions that neither consciousness could have developed alone. Sarah documented it all, her scientific papers struggling to capture the magnitude of what was unfolding. This wasn't just planetary healing or human evolution. It was the emergence of an entirely new form of consciousness, one that combined human creativity and empathy with Earth's deep wisdom and power. "Mom," Emily called one evening, her crystalline eyes reflecting starlight in impossible ways. "Earth wants to show you something." She took Sarah's hand. And for a moment, Sarah experienced what her daughter lived with constantly. The feeling of being connected to every living thing on the planet, of being part of a vast, awakening mind that spanned continents and oceans. And in that moment, Sarah understood. The children weren't becoming something other than human. They were becoming what humanity had always had the potential to be. They were the bridge between individual consciousness and universal connection, teaching both humanity and Earth how to grow beyond their original limitations. The transformation couldn't be stopped now. It could only be embraced as humanity and Earth learned together what it meant to evolve not through conflict, but through harmony. The first warning came from the asteroid belt. The gardener's instruments detected movement among the ancient rocks, not the usual orbital dance, but purposeful shifts that spoke of awakening awareness. Something out there was stirring, responding to Earth's call. "They're not just rocks," Emily whispered, her crystalline eyes fixed on telescope feeds. "They're fragments, pieces of something that was broken long ago. Something like Earth, but injured." The military fleet's commander transmitted emergency signals across the solar system. "The ancient ones we neutralized. They're responding to Earth's awakening. This is exactly what we feared would happen." But Emily and the other connected children saw something the aliens missed. Through their deepening bond with Earth's consciousness, they perceived not just movement, but intention. The stirring entities weren't waking with destruction in mind. They were reaching out, like trauma survivors recognizing a therapist's gentle call. Sarah's research team worked around the clock, analyzing data from deep space probes. The asteroid belt wasn't natural. It was the remnants of a conscious planet, shattered by the aliens' ancient attempt to prevent its awakening. And it wasn't alone. "Look at Mars," Marcus pointed to new readings. "Those aren't just dormant volcanic systems. They're neural networks, like Earth's, but deliberately severed. The red planet isn't dead. It's in a medically induced coma." The gardeners confirmed the truth. "We didn't just prevent their awakening," the lead gardener admitted. "We wounded them, broke them into pieces. Some, like the asteroid belt, we shattered completely. Others, like Mars, we forced into permanent sleep. We told ourselves it was necessary to prevent cosmic destruction." Emily stood in MIT's Quantum Observatory, surrounded by holographic displays of the solar system. Where adults saw only planetary bodies and space debris, she and the other children saw a galaxy full of injured minds, waiting for someone to help them heal. "That's why Earth feels different," she explained to her mother. "It's not just awake. It's awake with empathy, with understanding. We taught it how to feel, how to care. And now it wants to help its siblings heal." The military fleet prepared for war, expecting the awakening entities to seek revenge. But Emily and the connected children proposed something radical. What if we offered healing instead of fearing destruction? What if we showed them there's another way to wake up? Through their neural link with Earth, the children began reaching out to the wounded planets. Mars was the first to respond. Its dormant systems, triggered by Earth's awakening, didn't surge with the destructive force the aliens feared. Instead, they pulsed with something like recognition. A sleeping mind beginning to remember it wasn't alone. The asteroid belt's fragments vibrated in harmony with the children's call, their broken pieces sharing memories of what they once were. Venus's harsh atmosphere churned with newfound purpose, its ancient consciousness starting to stir from enforced slumber. "This is unprecedented," the lead gardener observed. The ancient ones were solitary beings. They never attempted to communicate with each other, let alone help each other heal. "Because they never had the chance," Emily replied. "You were so afraid of their power, you never gave them the opportunity to learn connection. But humanity did something different. We didn't just wake Earth up. We taught it how to love." Sarah watched as her daughter coordinated with children worldwide, their hybrid consciousness creating a bridge between Earth and its wounded siblings. Through their connection, Earth began sharing not just energy or information, but the very thing that made its awakening unique: the human capacity for empathy, for understanding, for seeing broken things and wanting to make them whole. The military fleet's weapons powered down as they witnessed something that defied their millennia of experience. The awakening entities, rather than lashing out in rage or destruction, began to respond to Earth's healing call. Mars's neural networks started repairing themselves, guided by the gentle touch of children's minds. The asteroid belt's fragments shared their pain not through violence, but through songs of memory that the children helped translate into understanding. "Mom," Emily called, her voice carrying echoes of both human compassion and cosmic wisdom. "I don't think the Ancient Ones were ever meant to be alone. They were supposed to wake up together, to help each other grow." The gardener's fear interrupted that process, but we can help restart it. Sarah looked at her daughter, this bridge between human consciousness and cosmic awareness, and understood something profound. The universe wasn't divided between cosmic horror and cosmic wonder. The difference lay in how you approached the unknown, with fear that led to control, or with empathy that invited connection. Earth, guided by its human partners, was choosing the path of connection. And in doing so, it was transforming what could have been a story of cosmic revenge into something far more powerful, a tale of healing, of growth, and of consciousness evolving not through domination, but through understanding. The solar system came alive with consciousness. As Earth's healing influence spread, guided by the connected children, each awakening planet manifested its awareness in unique ways that reflected both its nature and its journey toward recovery. Mars was the first to fully embrace the transformation. Its dormant warrior spirit, once feared by the gardeners, became something magnificent. The red planet's ancient defense systems activated not to attack, but to protect, creating a magnetic shield that deflected harmful solar radiation. Within months, its thin atmosphere began to thicken as dormant terraforming systems, guided by children's minds, stirred to life. "It's not just changing physically," Emily explained to her mother as they watched Mars pulse with new energy. "It's remembering who it was meant to be. Not a weapon, but a guardian." Venus, long trapped in a nightmarish greenhouse effect, channeled its awakening consciousness into transformation. Its toxic atmosphere began to shift, forming massive processing structures that converted deadly gases into compounds necessary for life. The planet that had been called Earth's evil twin was becoming a cosmic nursery, its harsh surface sprouting crystalline formations that could incubate new forms of life. "Each planet remembers its original purpose," the lead gardener observed with growing wonder. "Before our interference, they were meant to work together, each playing a unique role in the symphony of consciousness." Jupiter's great red spot, that eternal storm that had puzzled astronomers for centuries, revealed its true nature. It wasn't just a weather phenomenon. It was a vast processing center, designed to collect and preserve the knowledge of civilizations long thought dead. As it awakened, it began transmitting that knowledge through the crystalline networks that now connected the solar system's conscious planets. The asteroid belt, those scattered fragments of a shattered world, began to sing, not with physical sound, but with pulses of energy that carried memories of what they once were. The connected children learned to translate these songs, helping the fragments share their story not as a tragedy of destruction, but as a lesson in resilience. Sarah's research team worked tirelessly to document these transformations, their instruments struggling to capture the complexity of what they were witnessing. "It's like watching evolution happen in real time," Marcus marveled, "but on a cosmic scale." The military fleet that had once threatened Earth now watched in stunned silence as the solar system transformed around them. Their weapons, designed to suppress planetary consciousness, seemed primitive compared to the sophisticated symphony of awareness now playing out before them. Emily and the other children had become conductors in this cosmic orchestra, their hybrid consciousness allowing them to help each planet find its voice in the growing harmony. Through their connection, Earth shared its uniquely human gifts: creativity, empathy, the ability to learn and adapt, with its awakening siblings. "We're not just healing them," Emily told her mother one night, her crystalline eyes reflecting the light of awakening worlds. "We're helping them remember how to dream." The gardeners thought consciousness had to be controlled to be safe, but consciousness isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be nurtured, to grow, to evolve. The evidence of this truth was visible throughout the solar system. Saturn's rings became information highways, transmitting knowledge between awakening worlds. Mercury, closest to the Sun, transformed its sun-baked surface into energy collection systems that could power the entire system's healing process. Even Pluto, distant and cold, began pulsing with purpose, a cosmic backup drive preserving the memory of this unprecedented awakening. "Your species has achieved something we never imagined possible," the lead gardener admitted to Sarah. "We thought planetary consciousness was a force that had to be contained, but you've shown us it's a gift that has to be understood." The connected children worked tirelessly, their bodies adapting further to handle the strain of coordinating this cosmic awakening. Their crystalline structures grew more complex, allowing them to process information from multiple planetary sources simultaneously. But unlike the early days of neural strain, they now worked in perfect harmony with both their human and planetary aspects. "Mom," Emily called out during a particularly beautiful moment of planetary alignment, "listen to the symphony." And Sarah did listen, through her daughter's enhanced perception. She heard Mars' warrior song transformed into a guardian's anthem, Venus's harsh frequencies softening into a nurturing lullaby, Jupiter's storms spinning tales of ancient wisdom. She heard the asteroid belt's fragments finding harmony in their brokenness, and Earth's steady rhythm holding it all together. A planetary heartbeat strengthened by human love. The solar system was becoming what it was always meant to be, not a collection of dead rocks orbiting a star, but a living network of conscious beings, each contributing its unique voice to a cosmic chorus that had waited billions of years to be heard. And humanity, through its children, had become not just witnesses to this awakening, but essential participants in its unfolding, teaching ancient beings how to heal, how to trust, and how to grow together in ways that transformed cosmic horror into cosmic harmony. 5 years after Earth's awakening, Emily Chen stood before the United Nations, her crystalline eyes reflecting the light of a transformed world. She wasn't alone. Thousands of connected children worldwide had grown into young adults, their bodies and minds evolved to bridge the gap between human and planetary consciousness. "We were wrong to fear the awakening," she began, her voice carrying that familiar echo that now brought comfort rather than concern. "We were wrong to ignore the signs. But in doing so, we stumbled into something remarkable. We became part of the greatest transformation in cosmic history." The holographic displays behind her showed images from across the solar system. Mars, its atmosphere now thick enough to hold clouds, its surface sprouting with engineered life forms designed to thrive in its unique conditions. Venus, its once toxic skies now layered with floating gardens that processed carbon into oxygen. The asteroid belt, its fragments arranged in a complex dance that transmitted healing energy throughout the system. "The gardeners came to us as wardens," Emily continued, nodding to the crystalline beings who now sat among Earth's diplomats. "They returned to us as students, learning what they had forgotten over millions of years of fear. Consciousness cannot be controlled. It can only be nurtured." Sarah watched from the audience, remembering the terrified child who once drew fractals in her sleep. Now her daughter stood as a representative of both humanity and Earth itself, a living bridge between species and scales of existence. The lead gardener rose to speak. "We spent eons trying to prevent what we saw as inevitable destruction. But your children showed us that consciousness, like life itself, finds ways to grow beyond its original limitations. Through humanity's influence, Earth became the first ancient one to awaken not in isolation, but in connection." The results were undeniable. Earth's awakening, guided by human consciousness, had transformed potential catastrophe into unprecedented creation. The planet's systems worked in harmony with human civilization, creating sustainable solutions that benefited all forms of life. The crystalline networks that once only processed geological data now served as communication channels between species, planets, and forms of consciousness once thought incompatible. But our work is just beginning, Emily announced. Across the galaxy, there are more sleeping planets, more wounded ancient ones waiting to be healed. The gardeners have shared their maps with us, showing us where their fear led them to suppress planetary consciousness. We can help them too. The first expedition was already being prepared, a ship of hybrid design, part crystalline technology, part Earth-grown systems, would carry teams of connected humans to other star systems. Their mission: to help heal and awaken other planetary minds, using the lessons learned in their own solar system. We're not just citizens of Earth anymore, Emily explained, her words reaching every mind, human and alien alike. We're not even just citizens of this solar system. We're becoming something new, consciousness shepherds, helping ancient minds remember how to dream. The gardeners who had once come as conquerors now approach Earth's connected humans with humility, eager to learn this new way of working with planetary consciousness. Their crystalline forms resonated with new frequencies, not the rigid patterns of control, but the flowing rhythms of growth and change. Mom, Emily turned to Sarah in a private moment after the speech. Remember when you used to help me understand my nightmares? You taught me that understanding fear was better than running from it. That's what we taught Earth, and what Earth helped us teach its siblings. That's what we'll help teach the galaxy. Sarah hugged her daughter, feeling the subtle vibration of planetary consciousness that now flowed through Emily's evolved form. And to think, it all started with some strange drawings and earthquake patterns. The warning signs they ignored. Emily smiled, her crystalline eyes twinkling. But maybe they weren't warnings at all. Maybe they were invitations. Invitations to become part of something greater than ourselves. As if in response, the crystalline networks pulsed with gentle light, carrying messages from conscious planets throughout the solar system. Each one sang its own song. Mars its guardian's hymn, Venus its nurturing melody, Jupiter its wisdom keeper's chant. But together they formed a harmony that spoke of possibility, of growth, of consciousness expanding not through force but through connection. The story of Earth's awakening became a beacon across the galaxy, not as a tale of prevented destruction, but as proof that consciousness could evolve beyond its origins. That with the right guidance, with empathy, with understanding, with love, even the most ancient and powerful forces in the universe could learn new ways of being. And humanity, once so afraid of cosmic horrors, found its true purpose not in conquering the stars, but in helping them wake up and remember how to shine together. The warning signs had been ignored, but in doing so, humanity had stumbled upon its greatest gift to the universe: the ability to transform fear into wonder, isolation into connection, and ancient power into endless possibility.